Now, uploading with fetch is fine, but it doesn't allow us to tell the user what their upload progress is. And knowing the upload progress in a slower network environment is a very convenient thing to know. So what we're going to do is basically replace this fetch API. Go ahead and just comment it out for now, just so it's there as a reference if we want to see it. But what we can do is actually use something called XML HTTP request to do our uploads. And basically, this is actually what's powering fetch. So we just need to go like one level deeper to actually write our own implementation so we can keep track of the progress. And to make this simple, to kind of keep similar to fetch API, because it's a nice API, I'm going to go ahead and create a new function up here. And I'm going to call this const upload file with progress. All right, and this is going to take a few arguments. We're going to take a URL just like fetch. We're also going to take options. I'm just going to abbreviate that to ops. And I'm going to set a default value of an empty object, just so we have that there. And then finally, it's going to take an onProgress callback function, just so we can do whatever we need to, like update state as the progress happens as the photo is being uploaded. From this function, what we're going to do, again, because I like the fetch API, I want to try to keep that. I'm going to return a new promise. All right, and then a promise is going to have a response and then like a reject function that we can pass to it. So what we want to do in here is we need to actually go ahead and initialize the response or initialize the request. So we can say new XML HTTP request, and we'll store that on the XHR variable. We then want to go ahead and say xhr.open. So we're opening the request. We'll go ahead and pull ops.method, or we can just default that to get. We're going to make this as universal to use as possible. So we'll just default that to get, and then we can go ahead and actually pass the URL to that, to where we're actually opening a request to. We'll then go ahead and basically pass over any headers we have. Again, we're not using headers here, but it's a good thing to have in place. So we can say ops.headers. If that's not there, we'll just default it to an empty object. And we can say .for each value. We can say xhr.set request header. Set the value, and then we'll say ops.headers at value, just like we did for the form data that we're creating up here for the body of the content. Okay, the next thing we want to do is actually handling the upload progress. So basically, if xhr.upload, and we have an onProgress function, so if we're uploading and, keep making that typo, and we have onProgress, basically the user cares about the progress of the upload, then we're going to say xhr.upload.onProgress is equal to onProgress. And that's going to basically pass all the event information from this callback to this function that we've got set up. We can then basically handle the success of the response. So xhr.onload, we'll go ahead and that takes an event. And then we can go ahead and actually use res up here. So on a successful response, we can go ahead and just pass e.target.response. It's somewhat similar to what we're getting back from fetch, not exactly, but it's close enough. So we can do that. And then finally, we also need to handle the error case. So that's going to happen on xhr.onError. And in this case, we'll go ahead and pass reject, and then all of that information that's on the event for an error will go ahead and get passed to reject, and that'll cause the catch to be called. With all of that complete, we can then go ahead and say xhr.send ops.body. So basically anything that's being passed on the body of the message, again, we're going to use this form data, it'll go ahead and send that information. Okay, so our request is all set up. Now we need to actually go ahead and use this. So going back down to our handle upload of photo, we're going to go ahead and call this upload file with progress. Again, we're going to hit the same endpoint, localhost port 3000 /API/upload. As a second argument to this, we're going to pass a method of post, and then we're going to pass the exact same body data that we had before. So far, everything's exactly the same. The difference comes here where we're actually going to allow a third argument to be passed to our upload file with progress. And that's going to be for our tracking of progress. So what we can do is we've got this event that's going to be passed to this onProgress function that we're passing. And we can actually calculate the progress by saying const progress is equal to math. Well, first, we're going to have an event.loaded. So that's how much of the message has actually been uploaded so far to the server. And then we've also got an event.total, which is how big the actual message is. And we can go ahead and divide those, and we can actually calculate the percentage from this. So we've got this event.loaded by event.total. We'll multiply that by 100 to get the percentage. And then finally, we'll go ahead and wrap this in a math.floor. That way it's like 97% instead of 97.1238762, because nobody cares about those granular details. So that should be good. I'm going to go ahead and just log this progress so we can keep track of this. And then finally, I'm going to actually save this on state, which we're going to have to update. So we can say progress is going to be the actual progress. I'm going to fix my typo up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and initialize the progress. Up in state, we'll set this to 0 by default. And then if we go down to our actual render method, we'll go and display this. So we can add this above the upload. We'll add a text in here. Make sure you've imported text from React Native. And we can say progress is going to be progress. And we'll put percentage next to it. Okay, just like before, I'm actually going to just copy this. We're going to go ahead and grab the .then and the .catch, and we'll tack that on because, again, we set up upload file with progress to work as a promise. So we've got .then and .catch. In the error case, we'll alert upload failed. In a success case, we'll alert upload success. And then also here, when we do have success, we'll go ahead and upload or change the state of progress back to 0. Okay, everything should be set up. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the logs for the server again, and we'll try to upload a different picture. Upload this. And since this is local, this is all happening really quick. So if I actually pull over my debugging window, we could see that we're getting this progress. We're not going to get every single progress update as it happens because it's only called a certain amount in a given period of time. So you can see we get 17, 35, 52, 70, 80, 100. Let's go ahead and upload the photo once again just so you can see that as it's happening because it's kind of hard to actually see out on the screen. So I'll upload the photo and you can see all of the progress updates that we get as that photo is being uploaded. And with that, you're able to actually display the progress of the upload to the user. It's a great way to improve the user experience. You know, you could overlay the image. Something I've done before is basically the opacity over an image changes as the progress changes, but that's beyond scope of actually uploading an image and tracking the progress of it. So that's how you can do that. Set up a quick function, and then you can go ahead and reuse this upload file with progress. Has a very similar API to Fetch, which I'm sure you've used before, but you can also track the progress of an image being uploaded as it's being uploaded.